tell us a little about you personally. Likes, dislikes, what do you like to read? What do you do for fun? Books, movies?
Sure,
You know?
sure. Well, let's see. Well, first and foremost, I guess, I think about my family. I mean, if I think about what it is I do, what it is I like to do, how I spend my time, it's always about family. Veronica and I have 4 children that are raised now and are out exploring the world. And we try to think of ways that we can keep engaged with them, do things together. We try to plan opportunities to get together since we're all now geographically dispersed. So looking at those opportunities. So I would say everything I do, the movies I watch, music I listen to, the books I read, it's probably somebody in the family that has said, oh, you need to do this, or you need to try that. And so I try to do that to have experiences with them. Veronica and I together like to travel. We have always had a desire to see other places, to learn things, to meet new people, and that has always been something we've really enjoyed. And this year has been an exceptionally rich year for us, and we know one that we probably won't have again. Folks told me, Mark, if you're going to be going into a presidency, you probably need to do everything you wanted to do, because you're not going to have any time to do anything you want to do until it's all done. And so we thought about, well, what kind of places would we like to go and what kinds of things would we like to do? So we traveled extensively over the past 6 months, primarily in Europe this time. We've really not seen much of Europe. We've been to lots of other places, and so we got a chance to spend some time together in Spain with our son and his fiance, and they got engaged there. So that was a very exciting time for us in March. And then we took the family trip of a lifetime in May, and we had plotted and planned this for years. And so we told everybody, okay, if everybody saves up and we agree on a budget, then we'll all agree to meet in a certain city, and we'll travel together for 2 weeks, and we'll do, whatever it is that we want to do together. So we had originally hoped to go to China and had planned to spend our time in Tibet, and the civil unrest there in Tibet caused that trip to be canceled by the Chinese government. So we were scrambling in the last few weeks before we left, and finally hit upon going to Germany and Eastern Europe. So we did Munich and Salzburg and Austria, Vienna and Prague. And we did that together as a family. And I just can't tell you how wonderful it was to spend time with our grown kids and to see all of these amazing places and to do it together. It was just really great. So those are the things we like to do. And beyond that, there isn't much reading I do except things related to the university, and then whenever I'm not doing that, I sleep, which I don't get enough of.
How would you describe yourself? Maybe a bit of an unusual question, but if someone were to ask you, to describe yourself, maybe it's not easy to talk about yourself like that, but how would you describe?
Yeah, I'm not a big talker about myself. My folks were modest people, and they kind of encouraged in all of us a sense of, you don't need to talk about yourself, you just need to be about doing your work. I guess people would describe me as someone who works a lot and enjoys working, and it's something that I do enjoy work. I always like to learn new things, and have always been curious about just a wide variety of topics. So I read fairly broadly, and I don't. I enjoy going to the theater. Of course, that's my professional background over many years. So, I still like to see what folks are up to, and Veronica will tease me because the moment I walk in a theater, everybody else is looking at the stage, and I'm busy looking at the lights and thinking about the sound, and when we get done, critiquing what it is that I'd seen. So I always enjoy doing that. I guess if I were to describe myself, I would say I'm a fairly quiet person. I enjoy time to reflect. I enjoy time to read. I enjoy time to pray, to just be quiet. I'm a deeply emotional person. That is, that the feelings kind of run deep within, and I have I guess a tendency to reflect on the significance of things. So I'm always looking for what things might mean, and try to place them in that context. I guess that's how I would describe myself.
You mentioned the theater. What role does that play for you as president here?
Oh gosh, I use that every day. There are things you learn when you're a theatrical director, and well, I did a lot of acting, but my passion was directing it. I really enjoyed it, and the theatrical director, the successful one, is able to find really interesting people and bring them together in a company, and to create among those people who often haven't known each other, never met before, you create in them a sense of ensemble, a sense of mutual care and work together. You create a common purpose. You work to instill in them a kind of vision for what it is that together we might be doing. And then, as a director, you help to ask questions and to guide each individual to reach their fullest potential in working together to achieve that vision. And then at the end of the day, the satisfaction comes in letting all those folks stand up and take the applause. And just, the satisfaction comes in saying, well, here's where we were and here's where we got to. And that to me is it's a thrill to see that. So that's what, when I conceive of what the work of a president is, and the work that I've done at every point in my career as an academic leader, that's what I think about. Who are these folks? What assets do they bring to the table? How can we become a company of people working together in ensemble? What is the vision? How do we articulate it? How can I help to instill or inspire in people the opportunity to reach for something that is more than they ever thought possible to do together? And then at the end of the day, to try my best to stand in the background and let the folks that did the work really get the applause. So I think that metaphor works, and there are things you learn in the theater. I always tell parents who, like my mother and father, who wondered, what is this person going to do with his life with a theater degree? Everybody finds their way. But what they're learning is how to work in a team. They're learning about how to be placed in new situations and environments. Every time they go into production, how do they make sense of it? How do they solve it? How do they create a reality that wasn't there before? But how do they get it there? How do they do things authentically so that audiences will believe what it is that they do and accept it and be inspired and moved by it? They learn how to meet deadlines. They learn how to work with all sorts of materials, raw materials, human materials, financial resources. You just learn a whole wide variety of things as a theater student. And you can take that and you can apply it to anything. So I tell parents, don't worry. Your daughter, your son is getting a terrific set of life skills that they're going to